Especially for the one that follows the prices day in and day out, really to see some of this volatility come back. Like you said, it would make a lot of sense because Bitcoin was in fact created out of the banking crisis. And I think even the first block that was mined even referenced the bank bailouts. So from a narrative perspective, that makes a lot of sense. But I think even with all of the banking crisis front and center right now, this is really just a move after the CPI data. It's an extension of the rally yesterday, but you really saw that big jump this morning right after 8:30. Despite the banking narrative, crypto really trading still like a stock and motivated by a lot of macro factors.
So is there any consensus on what it's moving for? I mean, it's not an inflation hedge. It's maybe not the future of money because the dollar right now seems to be that.
Right. I think that the Bitcoiners would tell you it's kind of all of it. But in terms of the prices alone, it's going to continue to move like a stock, even though as of today, Bitcoin's correlation with the NASDAQ is actually at its low, at historic lows even. It's still driven by a lot of macro factors, and a lot of investors and analysts don't really see that changing until you see institutional investors start to come back into the market. So they've been sitting on the sidelines post FTX, and you know, it's.
But are they? If there's two banks that have collapsed that were handling all of those flows, are institutional investors coming back in the market?
Yeah, it's a good question. There's still, I think, despite the fact that you saw this big relief rally in January coming out of everything to do with 2022 and after FTX, yeah, they're still sort of sitting on the sidelines. And you can tell that because volatility was at an all-time low in January, which is both good and bad because volatility is the biggest hindrance for institutional investors. But it's also, you know, we're still, as of today, down more than 60% from Bitcoin's all-time high. Not going to get back there without some volatility.
Indeed. Tanaya, thanks.